so here's what, let's do positives and negatives again. Let's see what happens, okay? How about negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2. Now, in our heads, we've probably never done a negative exponent before. Maybe we have. But let's see what it gives you. So 2, the exponent key is that little caret key. Oh, did you get the same thing as me? Guys, part of this is just a calculator thing. Make sure you know how to type this in your calculator. Okay, you don't have to do them in your head quite yet. Alright, so 2 to the negative second power is actually 0.25. Alright, let's try 2 to the negative 1. What do we get? 0.5. This next one I think is going to surprise you. Because a lot of times with 0 we get a 0, right? What is 2 to the 0? Riley knows. 1. 2 to the 0 power is actually 1. And that's why I mean, for exponentials, guys, you haven't done these a lot, put them in your calculator. Now this we know, we can do this. What's 2 to the first power? 2. And 2 to the second power means just 2 times 2, which is 4. Okay, so this is an interesting graph when we graph it. And by the way, because the x is in the exponent, we call these exponential functions, when the x is in the exponent. So, let's graph. Where would 0.25 be? Like a half of a half? Yeah, so let's just don't make it touch the x-axis. We're going to put it right down there. Then at negative 1, we graph 0.5. And then at 0, we graph 1. And then it starts to change rather quickly. 1 to the 1, comma 2, 2, comma 4. I'm going to do one more so you can see what happens. When I do 2 to the third power, let's do that. What's 2 times 2 times 2? Not 6. 8. So 3 would be... Do you see how now they start to really spread out? Okay? So here's the deal. Be very careful with this. When you're connecting this, you are not going to go below the x-axis. When we put negative numbers in, did it make y negative? It didn't. It just made them smaller and smaller decimals. So we're not going to go below the x-axis. And so we're going to kind of make it almost run next to or getting a little bit closer to. And then we just draw a curve up through those points. Okay. Now, again, this is where you really need a calculator, guys. Okay? If you have a calculator, these aren't hard to do. Negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2. And I am just going to type those right in. I'd like you to do the same. Okay. So when I type this in my calculator, I actually can, and you guys that have these kinds, need one, grab one. They do the same thing. 4 times 0.3 to the negative 2 power. I get 44.4444. Okay, let's write it down. This one is going to go off the graph. I'm not going to be able to plot that 44.44, right? Are you confirming, though, those who are using calculators? Are you getting the same thing? Yeah. Good. All right, let's try the next one. 4 times 0.3 to the negative 1. Ooh, that one I'll be able to put on, or pretty close. 13.3 repeating. then we get a 4. And then I get a 1.2. And a 0.36. Okay, let's plot these. So -2 is too high. -1, I'm gonna just put it floating up here. Is that approximately where 13.3 is? Excuse me. There's 0.4. 1.2, I'm just going to put it a little bit above 1, and 2 a little bit below. Same deal, guys. If I would continue to put in powers, this would never go below the x-axis. So would you make sure that your curve does not dip below there? How does this look different than the one we did on the other page? Yeah, and here's why. You know an exponent means to repeat multiplication, right? If you multiply something by 2, is it going to get bigger or smaller? Bigger. Do you see how this graph got bigger as I went to the right? If you multiply by the number 0.3, is that going to get bigger or smaller, Clay? If you multiply by 0.3. So that's why this graph got smaller and smaller and smaller. Alright, so what are these called again? Exponential. Okay. Exponential and exponential. Alright, exponential. I know, I'll put it up there again. Exponential, they look like this or like this. So for right now, really, I just want you to be in your head, kind of picture what the shape of the graph is going to look